World, Florida. Dr. Narco Longo. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Magic. Welcome to Florida, baby. Florida is the original Garden of Eden. Concentration of freshwater springs in the world. Florida oranges are the golden apples of mythology. A race of giant men once roamed this peninsula. The Smithsonian can suck my balls. Megalithic ship anchors, known as sacks or steamers. I'm bringing Saxa back.
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thursday. And happy Sagittarius season. So let me know how my audio is sounding here. Just me by myself for right now. Shem might join in. Who knows? We'll see. But Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays, probably. Top 2, top 3. But I'm a Sagittarius. So I've been maybe the last week, even 2 weeks, haven't been doing that much. Well, I haven't been doing as much because my birthday was on the 23rd, and then we kind of celebrated my birthday and Thanksgiving on the 24th. So took a little bit of time off, and now we're back at it. Couldn't miss out on Thanksgiving Day. I've got a few insights on Thanksgiving, right? You can have a look at the title there. The real first Thanksgiving and esoteric turkey symbolism. I guess you could say the ritual turkey sacrifice, right? Ritual sacrifice of turkeys, annual sacrifice of turkeys. So let's see a drop of turkeys in the chat. Who participated in the yearly ritual sacrifice of turkeys? A little drop of a turkey emoji in the chat. But we don't mean to bully our flesh eating supporters here, but let's call it what it is, right? So Thanksgiving, we're going to get into the real first Thanksgiving, kind of the esoteric meaning behind Thanksgiving, beyond just the kind of pilgrim story. And then also we'll talk about the turkey. I just had a video come out a week or two ago about the country Turkey, the nation Turkey, and how it's connected to ancient America or colonial America, more so than people think, right? There's no official Ottoman presence in the Americas in colonial times. No significant Ottoman presence. But lo and behold, in Florida, we do have a Ottoman presence that isn't really talked about in history class. And so on and so on. You know, this flag of South Carolina looking like the flag of an Islamic nation. Talk about that, all the rabbit holes. So go check out my turkey video. But in the turkey video, of course, we had to address how the turkey, the animal, the bird, got its name. Right? And it kind of boils down to the English assumed, nicknamed, whatever, that the turkey came from Turkey. Even though it's an American bird, they, for whatever reason, they either misidentified it for, I think it's called a guinea fowl, something like that. I think that's what it's called. But it doesn't really look too much like a turkey, but it's bigger than most of your, game birds, like a turkey is. And maybe they confused it with that one. Maybe, but, we kind of make the case in the turkey video that there was a significant Ottoman presence in the Americas that we aren't really told about. And that very well could explain why turkeys got their name. Right? The English already had a direct line of contact with America. Why were they confused as to the turkey's origin? And it wasn't just the turkey. So that kind of debunks the guinea fowl thing. It wasn't just the turkey. It was also corn, pumpkin, and tobacco. Many Europeans, especially Englishmen, assumed those things came from Turkey because they were so widespread in the Ottoman Empire. The Turks were so involved in their trade that the English, who apparently had a greater presence in the Americas than the Ottomans, they had assumed that these things were coming from Turkey, right? Or the Turkish Empire, the Ottoman Empire. So, well, Thanksgiving, it's always celebrated on a Thursday, by the way. Thor's Day, ruled by Jupiter, astrologically speaking. And, you know, most cultures have a harvest festival or a fall time harvest, a, you know, bounty festival, right? Look at all what we got. Look at what we earned the whole year, right? Look at what we worked so hard for. But what differentiates, you know, the American Thanksgiving is that the American Thanksgiving is very, very, you know, it's inextricably linked to our country's origin, right? Our national identity, even our political identity a little bit. It's kind of like you know, it's a national story, right? It's not just a religious holiday, it's not just like a regional thing. It really came to be an American holiday, right? Who agrees with me? So, since it's such a popular, you know, such a popular holiday, and since it's one of the ones that we dress up for most in school, and our, you know, our government's really behind Thanksgiving, well, I think we ought to get the details right. Right? I think we ought to kind of make sure we get the story perfect. Now, if you're defining Thanksgiving as the first big meal or first celebration of Thanksgiving, celebration of peace and abundance between American Indians and Europeans during the Age of Discovery, right? You could say the Vikings had a whole bunch of feasts, whatever, but we're talking Age of Discovery. If that's what Thanksgiving is, if that's what we're remembering, then I'm here to tell you guys, as a lot of you probably know, there were at least one, if not two, if not three, significant meals of Thanksgiving, of peace, of friendship, held between American Indians, specifically Florida Indians, and Europeans during the Age of Discovery. So, what does that mean? Well, you know, Jamestown was like, what, 1607 or something? Virginia. Roanoke was like 1585 earlier, right? But we say that Thanksgiving goes back to Plymouth, Massachusetts. I think Plymouth is like 16. I don't know this. It's not Florida, so don't grill me on it. I think that's like the 1620s. I could be wrong. But I believe it's later than Jamestown. So we're closed. We're closed. You have a good night. If you look at, you know, Jamestown, I'm sure they had a meal. I'm sure they had a meal with Native Americans, right? Roanoke, I'm sure they had a meal with Native Americans, but we don't really celebrate those. Roanoke was kind of a failure. Well, it was a failure, right? Ended in disaster, mystery. Then Jamestown, you could say was a success, but what is you know, behind the main story of Jamestown? You have a bad case of cannibalism, right? There's a lot of details to the Jamestown story that they wouldn't like you to know. And a big cover-up, a big distraction that helps people kind of, you know, makes the Jamestown story more palatable is the fact that, what's his name? John Smith John Smith, a very dubious character. John Smith, he comes out with this whole Pocahontas story, right? So at Thanksgiving time, people start talking about Native Americans a lot more too, right? It's like Columbus Day and Thanksgiving, right? Kind of when most people even dress up as Indians, right? You see that. Who in school got dressed up as an Indian, right, by their teachers? We all did that. Well, blah, blah, blah. So we're celebrating the English Thanksgiving when actually the Spanish were here for a lot longer in Florida. And I'm going to show you guys, we're going to flip through some articles here. There was 3 significant meals of Thanksgiving, peace, friendship, whatever you want to call it, in Florida, decades before the Roanoke colony, the Jamestown colony, or the Plymouth colony. So, very interesting. You guys have probably seen my Pocahontas video. Hope you have. Go check it out if you haven't. Pocahontas video, not everybody's favorite content right there, but it's a great encapsulation of how Florida's history, Florida's contribution to America's, the birth of America, is really swept under the rug and oftentimes plagiarized, right? And stolen valor, stolen glory, right? Given to English colonies. Case in point, Pocahontas. Pocahontas, the story that we know in Disney, never happened. Okay? In his first couple of stories, or his first couple of accounts, John Smith doesn't talk about being saved by Pocahontas. Why doesn't he talk about it? It didn't happen. This is a fact. This is not a conspiracy theory. He heard about a story from Florida between the Spanish and the Indians of Florida near Tampa Bay, where one guy named Juan Ortiz was captured by the Indians of Florida, kind of held captive, saved by a princess at least once, if not 2 or 3 times, and then got, saved again and ultimately released and reunited with the Spanish. Crazy story, right? It made it, that story in English, made it back to England around 1607, right? Well, 1601, I think it got translated to English. La Florida del Inca, or the story of De Soto's expedition through Florida. So they got the De Soto story, but this Juan Ortiz character. Juan Ortiz rescued. It's the Pocahontas story. Tit for tat. The best parts of the Disney story, Pocahontas, are from the Juan Ortiz story in Tampa Bay. So that's just an example. And it gives you kind of an understanding of why the Thanksgiving in England is the one that's more celebrated. Even though they've got one in Florida. Right, a couple in Florida, decades earlier. But we'd be kind of, I don't know what we'd call it. Gracias giving, something like that. It would be Spanish. It would have a Spanish flair to it. No, I'm not changing the GIF. Deal with it. $20. Tip $20 and I'll change the GIF. Ha ha ha. So deal with the turkeys. Now, that's a little bit of the backstory. With Thanksgiving in Florida. But we've got some articles here. There was at least 2 Thanksgivings. Meals of Thanksgiving held between Florida Indians. Let's see. Here, I got a little video here too. That's All right. There's tons and tons of articles on this. You can go to wherever, history, whatever. This isn't a conspiracy theory, by the way, people, either. The Pocahontas thing, that's way out in the open, but Disney's never going to go back and change that. In fact, Disney probably loves that fake Pocahontas story, because if you're using Pocahontas as the character, the main character of this rescue, instead of the real princess Eulalie or Hirahigua from Tampa Bay, if you're using this fake Pocahontas, well, guess what? She was like 9 years old when she had this romance with John Smith. You know, come on. Disney loves that stuff. Disney loves blurring the lines, Ben. It's a little factoid that you wouldn't really know if you weren't checking for it, but still it resonates in the subconscious, That's a child romance happening on there. Made for children. It's disgusting. Typical of Disney. But Wyatt, man, pop back in here. I'll put you in. I saw you. Appreciate Wyatt with the 1999. Appreciate that, man. If you want to come back and join in, I'll throw you in. I just wanted to do an intro for the kind of get the whole spiel out before I brought callers in. But I saw you in there, Wyatt. My bad, man. I didn't mean to waste your time. Here, this is a good comment. Born not to run. You start your videos saying these topics might not be your views, just things you're researching, connecting ideas. Why do you make the disclaimer? And do you have a video talking about your views? Well, here, I'll clear that up, because I usually try and keep my intros like under a minute. A lot of times they're like 3 minutes. So I'm really trying to cut time, but there's so much to say. But I'll tell you the main reason why I do it. Number one, it's the truth. Like, not everything in the video is, and I think you're misquoting me a little bit, but I won't grill you on the details. You start your videos saying these topics might not be your views, just things you're researching, connecting ideas. Now, I didn't say that. What I think it says at the beginning of all my videos is the views expressed in this video are not necessarily my own. And that's the truth. Like, I'm choosing the content of the video. I'm choosing the topic. So I'm very interested in the topic. That's obvious. But just because, like if I'm taking a video about somebody, like in my Finnish video, for example, which I think is why I said it. If I put a researcher in my video, do I agree with everything he says? No. But I might have chosen to be in my documentary because of one thing he's going to say, right? Or one reason that he kind of came into the scope of my research. Does that mean I'm affiliate, that I vouch for every single thing out of their mouth? No. So for the most part, everything in my videos, most of the stuff in my videos, I do believe in. It's not just like research or connecting ideas. I do believe in it. But that disclaimer is for not every single view in this video is mine. I thought that was obvious. Might be. It's not like whatever. It's basically saying if there's somebody here in this video other than me, I don't vouch 100% for everything they say. Also, if I'm reading from an article, which I often do, I'm not vouching for everything in the article. You know what I mean? For example, like if there's a round earth, flat earth reference, none of my videos are about that. But if I'm reading from, someone I really respect, and they say, oh, the globe is this big, or you know, it takes us this long to revolve around the sun. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm not going to censor them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to like chop it out. I'm just going to boom, there's my disclaimer. Okay. Okay, hope that explains it. And I'll read your comments if I see them, guys. But if you definitely want me to see it, you can tip, and it'll pop right up to the front. But the chat does move rather fast for me when I'm flipping between tabs. So here, first Thanksgiving. That's a good question. Born not to run. Yeah, it's mainly my views, mainly my interests. You know, I curate the channel, but not everything in the video is necessarily my views. Okay. The first Thanksgiving on September 8th, for example, if there's something in this article that I don't agree with, I'm not going to make a whole thing about it. I'm not going to chop it out or make it edited out. Just, take it with a grain of salt or take it with that disclaimer. Okay, cool. Hope that makes sense. And I appreciate the you wanting it cleared up, because I wouldn't want to listen to somebody who's putting stuff out just as like a, something they're interested in for the moment, but don't take to heart. I take all this stuff to heart, mostly. I didn't explain my views. Well, views on what? It's going to take a while. Cough up some dough. Get particular. I'll address it. Yeah, my views are all in the video. All in the videos, pretty much. For the most part, you can tell. You know what I mean? If you're paying attention, if I'm speaking, that's my views. If I clearly said, now I'm reading from somebody else's article, that's not. Okay, sorry. Shouldn't waste any more time on that. This isn't The View. Yeah, good point. Okay. First Thanksgiving, guys. This one's out of St. Augustine. St. Augustine, Florida is the oldest city in America. The oldest city in the United States, continental United States. And that's because the Spanish set up shop there, 1565. That's before Roanoke. That's before all the English colonies. And this one was successful too. That's why it counts. That's why it matters. All right. This is the real first Thanksgiving before the one in Plymouth. Pay attention. And I'll bring some callers in here in a sec. Okay. On September 8th, 1565, Pedro Menendez de Aviles and 800 Spanish settlers founded the city of St. Augustine, in Spanish La Florida. As soon as they were ashore, the landing party celebrated a massive Thanksgiving. Afterward, Menendez laid out a meal to which he invited, as guests, the native Saloy tribe. And for those who watch often, Saloy, that's probably a Indian tribe you don't. Indian tribe name you don't hear very often, but the Saloy, I believe, is a smaller subgroup of the Timucua, who we do talk a lot about. So Timucua. The celebrant of the Mass was St. Augustine's first pastor, Father Francisco Lopez de Mendoza Grajales, and the feast day in the church calendar was that of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. What exactly the Saloy natives thought of those strange liturgical proceedings, we do not know, except that in his personal chronicle, Father Lopez wrote that, quote, the Indians imitated all they saw done. What was the meal that followed? From our knowledge of what the Spaniards had on board their 5 ships, we can surmise that it was cocido, a stew made from salted pork and garbanzo beans, laced with garlic seasoning and accompanied by hard sea biscuits and red wine. If the Saloy contributed to the meal from their own food stores, then the menu could have included turkey, venison, gopher tortoise, mullet, drum, sea catfish, maize, beans, and squash. This was the first community act of religion and Thanksgiving in the first permanent European settlement in North America. It took place just 300 yards north of the Castillo de San Marcos, at what is now the mission of Nombre de Dios. This event is commemorated today by a 250-foot cross, which stands on the original landing site. Today's holiday. The Thanksgiving at St. Augustine was celebrated 56 years before the Puritan Pilgrim Thanksgiving at Plymouth Plantation, Massachusetts. I said that with a lisp. Massachusetts. But it did not become the origin of a national annual tradition. During the 18th century, British forces won out over those of Spain and France for mastery of the continent. Thus, British observances such as the annual reenactment of the Pilgrim's Harvest Festival in 1621 became a national practice. After the United States became an independent country, Congress recommended one yearly day of Thanksgiving for the whole nation to celebrate. George Washington suggested the date November 26th. Very interesting. Now, we're going to get to the date here, guys. Okay. That's where the esoteric aspect kind of comes in. Why November? Why a Thursday? George Washington had a hand in this, and Abraham Lincoln had a hand in this, as you guys are going to see, and Benjamin Franklin a little bit in another way, as you'll see. George Washington suggested the date November 26th. He was an astrologer, by the way. He was a Freemason. He was many things, right? Most people have good things to say about him, but he was into some interesting, esoteric stuff too. In 1863, during the bitter struggle of America's Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln established the last Thursday in November as a national day of Thanksgiving, making it truly a national holiday. The president urged prayers in churches and homes, calling on the whole American people, wherever they lived, to unite with one heart and one voice in observing a special day of Thanksgiving, and to implore the interposition of the Almighty to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it to full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. Alrighty. That is the Thanksgiving in St. Augustine. And I've talked about that a couple times before. But here, there's actually another one. So this is 1565, right? Now, very soon after this, Pedro Menendez went to the other coast of Florida. And guess what happened? Oh, well, here, let's watch this real quick a little bit first. Give me one sec. Boom. Okay, 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, tell me if you guys can hear this. I hope you can. Please. Yeah, okay. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The dancing elephant in the room. All right. There's smoke alarms upstairs that our landlords have not changed the batteries on. Now, that door is locked. If I could change it, I would. I'm sorry. When there's no music playing in here, it's very obvious. When there's music playing in here, when you come in and hang out, you would never be able to tell. I'm sorry. Okay? My skin is white as snow. Please forgive me. Okay? I'm sorry. Major insecurity. But tell me if you can hear this real quick, please. Can you guys hear it? You don't hear it? Shit. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. It pretty much just says the same thing I said that I just read. Well, here we go. This one is the second Thanksgiving. Okay, second Thanksgiving. Now, there might have been one before this. There might have been one before this between the French Huguenots and the Timucua tribe. That one was 50. It might have been as early as 1562, but probably 1564. So 1564, there might have even been a significant meal of Thanksgiving before this one. 1565, St. Augustine. 1564 might have been Jacksonville. Could have been South Carolina. Could have been near St. Augustine too. But the Huguenots were in Florida, 1560. South Carolina, Florida, 1562, 1564. So this one was a little bit earlier, or a little bit later. The Huguenot one might have been a little earlier. Then the St. Augustine one happened. Then this one happened. This one is on the west coast of Florida. This is near Marco Island, or what's it called? Mound Key. So Mound Key, which is southwest Florida, so you guys know. Long before the first Thanksgiving, an artificial island in Florida hosted a cross-cultural feast. Decades before the Wampanoag and Pilgrims shared a meal, the powerful Calusa and their Spanish guests celebrated their new alliance. Spoiler alert, it didn't last. Here, a late 16th century map notes the territory of Kalos near the southern tip of Florida. But the Calusa actually controlled most of the peninsula's southwest. In 1521, Spanish conquistador Juan Ponce de Leon sailed his ship up the southwest coast of what is now Florida. He was looking to start a colony there, but when he and his men came ashore, Calusa warriors met them with shark-toothed war clubs and arrows and spears that were tipped with pointed bone and fish spines. And an arrow landed in Ponce de Leon's thigh, eventually killing him. That pretty much kept the Europeans from bothering the Calusa for the next 2 centuries, except for a brief period of cordial relations, beginning in 1566. That was the year King Carlos hosted the governor of La Florida, Pedro Menendez de Avilés, at a lavish event. Decades before the first Thanksgiving in Massachusetts, it was the second earliest recorded meal to bring Native Americans and Europeans to the same table, and occurred just 6 months after the first, when Menendez founded the town of St. Augustine on Seloy tribal lands. The feast shared by the Calusa and the Spanish is noteworthy for another reason. It included one of the earliest guitar performances on American soil. Well, would you look at that? That's pretty cool. The event took place on the summit of an artificial island near present-day Fort Myers. Today it's the archaeological site of Mound Key, but back then it was the seat of the powerful Calusa kingdom. That night, the Calusa and their guests dined in a grand hall built from wood with a thatched roof. It was large enough to fit 2,000 people. More than a meal, the event was a political summit, complete with speeches, gifts, the betrothal of King Carlos's sister to Menendez, and plans for an alliance that would lead to both a Spanish fort and mission on Mount Key. The Calusa served up fish and oysters, while the Spanish arrived with 100 pounds of biscuits, wine, molasses, and quince jelly, or quince jelly. Looking to impress, the Europeans also brought an entourage of hundreds, including soldiers and musicians, as well as tablecloths and napkins. The Spanish likely thought the linens might civilize the affair, but the Calusa were already quite sophisticated. In addition to smaller communities up and down the coast, about 4,000 people lived on and around Mount Key, a complex urban center that was on par with contemporary Aztec cities. Mount Key covered more than 125 acres. Mount Key, covering more than 125 acres, was itself created by the Calusa and has withstood at least 1,000 years of storms. The island was built by layering shells, bones, and other materials. It featured a network of canals, smaller mounds, and water courts, areas to raise and store live fish and shellfish. Here, I got a good little video. Brandon, can you pull this picture up, please? I just sent it to your iMessage. So, get an ad blocker. How about you suck my balls? This is America. We take our ads. We swallow our ads. No milk. No milk with the ads. Okay? You like America, you take the ads. You deal with the ads. Take the pain. It'll make a man of you. It'll make you love the music even more if you listen to the radio with the ads on. Yeah. Dr. Longo has ads for breakfast every day. No milk. Okay, 1 second here. It's not like a small village where every household makes their own pots and gets their own firewood, says archaeologist Victor Thompson, who has studied the Calusa city-state for more than a decade. There had to be an economy with a distribution of products. With urbanism, you have to engineer for public works like waste disposal, fresh water, and public transportation. The Calusa were in fact one of the most powerful political forces in Florida, with influence that extended from south of Tampa Bay to the Florida Keys. And what's more impressive is that they did it all without agriculture, one of the only complex urban societies to do so, an accomplishment detailed by Thompson in a new paper published in the Journal of Anthropological Archaeology. Okay. Oh, there's more. Goddamn. Phew. Thompson and fellow archaeologist Amanda Roberts Thompson, his wife, co-direct the University of Georgia's Laboratory of Archaeology. In 2017, they were part of a research team that definitively located the remains of the Grand Hall on Mount Key. Victor Thompson describes the scope of the Calusa capital as mind-boggling and one of the most well-preserved examples of indigenous architecture in the southeastern United States. But the story he's most excited about usually concerns Menendez's musical diplomacy. What's up, Shem?
What's going on?
What's up, Chode?
Just got back. Appreciate you having me.
Nice. You got kicked out of Thanksgiving again?
Yeah.
Talking conspiracies?
Happens every year.
Yeah.
But now I caught some of the show on the way here, so caught up to speed.
Oh, nice. The Sheminator. Was Thanksgiving good?
Yeah, it was really good. What about you?
It was pretty good. We celebrated a couple days ago.
Just chilled today. Yeah, I had a couple places to go.
Nice. Did you know that there was an earlier Thanksgiving in Florida?
Just heard about it from you.
Nice.
So, based on the Jewish origins of Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
The Feast of the Tabernacles. Sukkot.
Yes and no. Here, let me finish reading this.
Get
Then
it?
we'll talk about the esoteric origins. This is just like the Florida being first. Of course, we always have to grab the limelight over here to Florida. But according to historical records, on the night of the feast, Spanish musicians played fifes, drums, trumpets, a harp, and a guitar. The Calusa reportedly loved the music, and it helped the two cultures bond. Imagining the guitar performance in particular delights Thompson, a guitarist himself. I just love thinking about some Jimi Hendrix of the 16th century sitting there at the feast, playing this fantastic instrument that gives me so much joy. Little interesting fact there, guys. Jimi Hendrix's birthday was either the 27th or today. I think it was the 27th. But very often does Jimi Hendrix's birthday fall on Thanksgiving. My birthday tends to fall on Thanksgiving too. Like
My niece's
7
birthday. It's on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
It was today as well. She turned 10.
Cool. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. That's what took me so long. I was taking my other niece out to spend the night with her. Pretty far away.
Nice. Can't believe anyone trusts you with their niece. With those glasses. Poof.
Chill.
Just teasing. But unfortunately, and perhaps predictably, the alliance between the Calusa and the Spanish didn't last. Within a year, the arrangement fell apart, and King Calus's sister, who had been baptized as Antonia, returned to Mount Key. The Spanish assassinated Calus in 1567, and also killed his successor, Felipe, in 1569. By that point, everyone's like, this is terrible. Let's just burn the village and drive out the Spanish. And that's what they did, says Thompson, referring to the large urban center on Mount Key, which the Calusa destroyed. Wow. It was a bold and surprising move, but it worked. The Spanish were kicked out, and the Calusa, after rebuilding their city, managed to remain on Mount Key into the early 1700s. Eventually, however, their kingdom declined. Many Calusa died as European-introduced diseases swept through their communities, while others were enslaved or killed by colonists. Later church birth and death records in Cuba refer to people who were residents of Calus, which suggests some Calusa may have survived and migrated to the island. and they did. I've looked enough into that to see the
Okay.
good evidence to
Tranquilo.
show that they did. You talk to your dogs in Spanish?
Sometimes.
That's hella racist, bro.
Hella racist. Nah, I got some Spanish family. We were drinking some coquito earlier.
Coquita?
Coquito.
Is that Coke?
No, it's like a Puerto Rican eggnog.
Nice. Dude. Yo, negative Riz with that, okay? Just Alrighty. Moving forward.
See, Kelly knows about the coquito.
Yeah, no aura, bro.
Whatever.
Others appear to have been absorbed into the Seminole tribe, where, says Thompson, traditional Calusa songs are still performed. But all contemporary written records of the Calusa came from the brief period of detente. Detente? How do you say that? Of detente? Detente? I don't know. I've never seen that word. Forgive me, guys. Or it's got some lame French pronunciation that I don't know.
Can't even see it because our faces are blocking the article.
You see it. Brief period of detente. Someone correct me on this, please.
Looks like it would be detente.
Detente. Detente. Someone says detente. Okay. Leaving tantalizing questions about the rest of their long history. It's a cool story of resilience, says Victor Thompson. Their story unfolds on a very different trajectory than what happened to other indigenous cultures, at least for a while. There's still a lot to learn. All right, there's the two stories of Thanksgiving in Florida, long before the one in what's it called? Plymouth and Jamestown and Roanoke, by the way. So if your definition of Thanksgiving is a meal held with a prayer, of Thanksgiving, celebration of friendship, peace, well, we had a couple of those in Florida first. Alrighty. Just setting the record straight. But Shem, dude.
What a shock. The English stole more from people.
Yeah, I know.
Love how that works.
Yeah. Whole bunch of hocus pocus, Pocahontas. What are you working on recently, Shem?
Nothing really. Just been reading stuff like Against Apion by Flavius Josephus. It's pretty interesting. Been working on some parody videos. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
And then we have a little special thing in the works.
You want to announce that? You want to keep it
on the DL until we
Damn.
get the Electoral College to help us out with that.
Yeah, we're still nominate. We're still, what's the word? Screening electors.
Yes.
But once the electors have all been screened, we'll be up and running for some serious programs. Just that's all there is to say right now. Stay tuned. Get excited. Big truther bash before the end of the year. That's all we'll say.
Yeah, nothing related to this topic. I definitely don't want to get too far off topic. Maybe at the end we could talk about some other stuff, but
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, let's do the story of Thanksgiving. Abraham Lincoln. Thanksgiving.
Shim
Here
fun.
we go.
George Floyd. Yeah, apparently I found a lot of channels. My pockets are deep.
Oh shit. Yo, shut that down. Shut that down. Shut that down. Shh. And we're back, guys. What's up, yo? Hey, hey, what's up, Shem?
What's going on?
Chilling, man. Talking about Thanksgiving, but here we go. Lincoln and Thanksgiving. This is like, I assume, how Abraham Lincoln formally kind of created, ironed out the Thanksgiving holiday. And then we'll talk about the esoteric meaning, why he chose that day, what's the whole mythology, behind this, the astrotheology, right? The time of year, all that stuff. But here.
Sounds interesting.
It is late November. Let's see how long this fucking thing is. Make the mistake of reading a long ass, not checking how long an article is. It is late November. A few stubborn leaves still cling to their branches. Oh my God. Definitely a woman writing this. Right? Probably.
Try hard.
Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. But let's be real. It is late November. A few stubborn leaves still cling to their branches. We gather with our families around the dining room table. The turkey is carved. The turkey is slaughtered, stuffed, sodomized, ripped apart, torn, ripped rib from rib. The cranberry sauce and sweet potatoes are passed around. So is your grandma. The smell of pumpkin pie fills the air. There are parades and football games on the television. We gather and give thanks for all we have. With family and friends. How did we reach this Thanksgiving Day tradition? How did we get from traditional harvest celebrations to eating turkey and watching football? Is Mr. Lincoln responsible? Okay. Abraham Lincoln's Thanksgiving Proclamation. In July of 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg resulted in more than 50,000 American casualties. Despite these losses, the United States gained a great victory during these 3 days. On October 3rd, yeah, exactly. On October 3rd, 1863, with this victory in mind, as well as its cost, President Lincoln issued a proclamation. Quote, excuse me. I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving. And I recommend to them that while offering up the ascriptions justly due to him, they do also, with humble penitence and for our national perverseness and disobedience, commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are now unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with divine purposes to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. This proclamation, end quote. This proclamation is viewed as the beginning of the national holiday of Thanksgiving Day. It was one of 9 similar proclamations that Mr. Lincoln issued during the Civil War. Mr. Lincoln issued the proclamation, but he did not author it. Secretary of State William Seward penned the October 1863 proclamation. All right, got this whole story about this chick. Literally don't care. Skipping.
Same.
Thanksgiving tradition. Okay, yeah, 1621 Pilgrims. You guys get it. Typical story.
Would you say that the cornucopia is a symbol for Thanksgiving? Is that fair?
I guess so, yeah. The harvest time. Yeah.
It's interesting because this proclamation talks about unity. The cornucopia is another symbol for the Hasmonean dynasty,
Is it?
which are, well, fine. We'll keep going.
Yeah. Bro, that's too deep, dude. You're too deep. Here, this talks about how kind of the pardoning a turkey thing. Pardoning the turkey. Whoa, hang on. Someone's claiming an earlier Thanksgiving. No. Oh, no. Oh, God. Just kidding. But Francisco Vasquez de Coronado and the Taya Indians hold a feast in Palo Duro Canyon. Okay, well, hate to break it to you, but Hernando de Soto had plenty of meals with natives. 1538, 39, 1540. So we're good, guys. We're good.
This chick didn't learn that at college.
Probably not. Here's the here's why they got their facts wrong.
Applebaum.
Shout out to my friend Applebaum that I grew up with, who played on my lacrosse team, who comments in the chat every once in a while. Shout out to Applebaum.
Highlight the next word too. That's pretty important.
So, boom. Abraham Lincoln was the man. He was the guy who said, yo, Thanksgiving, last Thursday of November. Now, what's so special about the last Thursday of November? Let's talk about Thanksgiving, what it represents. On the 20th, if I didn't have my birthday and if I wasn't so busy this week, I would have gone live on the 22nd or 23rd or 21st to talk about the entrance into Sagittarius. We're in Sagittarius now, right? I did a Scorpio video. We're going to try and do a live stream or video for each sign of the zodiac. And now we're in Sagittarius. Just like Halloween is the festival of Scorpio. Sex, death, rebirth, lust, fornication, assassinations, apocalypse, underworld, right? That's all Halloween, right? That's in the sign of Scorpio. It's very fitting. Halloween is like the grand festival of Scorpio. Okay, well, Thanksgiving is the grand festival, principal festival of Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius rule? Travel, abundance, truth, ego, a little bit, right? Kind of wisdom, conspiracy theories, a little bit, right? Doses of truth, right? You could say. And I'm trying to tie all this back to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the Sagittarius holiday.
Also, it could also be the transition from beast to man, since it's half beast, half man.
Yeah, it could be.
Especially since they claim they have these meals as savages.
Mm-hmm. When you travel, right? Thanksgiving is the holiday that most people are in America. We're just talking about America, guys, by the way. And we explained the reasons for that at the beginning. Every culture has a fall harvest festival, admittedly. We're talking about the One that's unique to America, Thanksgiving story that has a lot to do with our national identity, that Thanksgiving. So other countries do Thanksgiving in like a fall harvest. We're talking about this one. So thank you, Brandon, for the picture. Can we get this blown up a little bit, maybe? Can we see if we can get that to hug the borders? See if you can pull the borders of that whole window. Like on the outer. Yeah, like drag. Yeah. Oh, shit. Whatever. That's all right. Oh, boom. There we go. My bad. My bad. You did it right. My bad.
A lot of dark-skinned people here.
Yeah, the Spanish, the Spanish are not German. Definitely not Northern European. So this is probably a fairly accurate depiction. That being said, they all look like the same guy. Looks like the painter dropped acid and forgot where he was for a sec. Like painted 10 of the same dude. Like Spanish people look alike, but they don't look that alike, It's like
That's the keys, Freddie.
it's like 10 single dads from Miami right here. Having dinner.
How does that? The woman has red hair, I think, but I'm also colorblind. So maybe
Good point.
completely wrong.
She looks European, though. I think they brought her from Europe. She's probably the wife of one of them.
She's probably a Jewess.
Jewess.
They went for a high premium, the red-haired ones, especially in the 1800s in California and America.
Really? So, Thanksgiving is a Sagittarius holiday, guys. And Sagittarius rules. One sec here. I'm reorganizing. Here, Shem, just talk. Just make sure it's not something stupid.
Everything I say is stupid, so it's hard to beat. But
Okay, here we go. There we go. We look nice and good. Well, Thanksgiving ruled by Sagittarius. Abundance. Sagittarius rules abundance, right? Sagittarius rules travel. Thanksgiving is the holiday that people are most likely to travel for, even more than Christmas. People are more likely to travel for Thanksgiving and then just kind of ride out the whole month and wait for Christmas, right? If you're traveling really far. But a lot of people travel for Thanksgiving. Mind you, Christmas is also just about in Thanksgiving. It's just about in Sagittarius. So you've got Thanksgiving marking the beginning of Sagittarius, Christmas marking the end of Sagittarius. All right. At Thanksgiving, travel, boom, we got it. Abundance, boom, we got it. What else can you expect from a Sagittarius holiday? Truth, right? Sagittarius doesn't have a monopoly on truth, but it rules and governs like truth telling, seeking wisdom through its rulership by Jupiter. So Jupiter rules truth and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter rules wisdom, higher learning, right? Religion, philosophy, in a sense. Philosophy is a Sagittarius thing too. But what do you see at Thanksgiving a lot, right? The conversation tends to be a little bit heightened, right? It's not an overtly religious holiday. It's not like you're, pretending to be like very sincere or like reverent. You can just kind of say whatever you want. You're seeing people you haven't seen in a while. What tends to start flying? Conspiracy theories. Is there any holiday more associated with conspiracy theories? Like, hey, when I get invited don't be bringing up 9/11 because I'm gonna be right. Everyone has their Thanksgiving conspiracy theory meme, right? Like, don't be that guy, when grandma hands you the dark meat and you hit her with the Bush to 9/11, everyone's got, like, there's infinite Thanksgiving conspiracy theories or memes. So
Well, yeah, even the mainstream media has made efforts in the past few years to kind of coach their subordinates through these types of conversations at Thanksgiving.
yeah. Well, so you've got conspiracy theories coming up, right? Kind of an emphasis on truth seeking. You could say it's a paranoia thing or like a schizophrenic, crazy family member thing, but I choose to see it as, truth telling, truth seeking might matter a little bit more during Sagittarius. Who knows, right? These things are more likely to come up. You care about your family. You try and set them straight when you get a chance, right? When you see people you don't always see, maybe it's your only opportunity to kind of red pill them or dose them with some holistic health or something. But Thanksgiving, Sagittarius, right? It all fits the bill. What else? It's not just these random associations. Abe Lincoln chose that time of year for a reason.
These Jewish.
Thursday. Why Thursday? Why is it always Thursday? It's always a Thursday because Thursday we get from Thor, and Thor is Jupiter. Jupiter rules Thursday. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Therefore, the Sagittarius holiday, it makes sense to put it in Thursday, Jupiter's Day. Already. That's King Arthur too, King Arthur's Day, right? And also Turkey. Well, here, Shem, did I do a good job? Does that make sense? Like,
it does.
Sagittarius, Thursday, last Thursday of November, guarantees it's always going to be in Sagittarius. It can never be the way that the weeks work in the year. And I know this because my birthday is the earliest possible day for Thanksgiving. It's the 23rd. I don't believe Thanksgiving can ever be on the 22nd unless it got like specifically chosen one year or whatever. But the last Thursday of November is pretty much always one of the first days of Sagittarius. So it's either the 23rd or like the 28th or the 29th at the latest, I think, right? A 7-day span. Has to be the last Thursday of November. Maybe it's
some people are saying the 22nd is included.
Okay, well, 22nd could work, I guess, but the last Thursday would be 22 plus 7. Whatever. Maybe
I'll look it up.
Maybe it has been a couple times on the 22nd. But yeah, it's usually between the 23rd and the 28th, right? Last Thursday of November. So Thursday, okay. Why Turkey? Turkey. Now we're going to get into the esoteric symbolism of the turkey. I'm of the opinion, I've been convinced that the turkey is the principal inspiration for the Thunderbird and maybe even the Phoenix. So, the Native American, the Indians all across America have this legend of a Thunderbird. Sagittarius rules thunder. Jupiter rules thunder, god of thunder, right? Zeus, Jupiter. Who else? Thor, King Arthur, Jesus even, you want to throw him in there. Don't want to trigger any Christians, but it's true. Get wrecked. It's the thunder god.
It does say the last time Thanksgiving was on the 22nd was in 2012.
Okay. So yeah, it can reach the 22nd, sure. 23rd, 20, it's very rare for it to be on the 23rd. It's probably even rarer for it to be on the 22nd. And I don't know if those would be the last, very, very last. I don't know if those would be the very, very last Thursday of the month. I feel like that could be, might have conflicted with another special day, and they chose a particular day, chose a particular Thursday. But 22nd, it's hard to see how that would be the last Thursday of the month. But that's okay.
I'm looking at the calendar right now from that specific year, and we'll find out. It was not the last Thursday of that month. The 29th was.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's unique, and it didn't match the rule. So I don't know why people care about that, or why people are like trying to gotcha on that, but it didn't follow the pattern. And I'm working off pattern recognition, right? I didn't come up with these dates, but 22nd, theoretically, right? Or if you're thinking about it, can't be the last Thursday of the month, right? It would have to be in the last 7 days of the month. That's okay. It's happened on the 22nd. It's happened on the 22nd. Sagittarius does not always start on the 22nd.
Blame Obama, dude. This is probably Obama's fault. 2012.
Sagittarius always starts on the 23rd, but sometimes it starts on the 22nd. And somewhere in the middle of the day on the 22nd, it can switch over. So some people born on the 22nd are Scorpios. Some people born on the 22nd are Sagittarius. But if you're born on the 23rd, you're always a Sagittarius. Now, if you're one of the people in the chat shouting and crying about those details, you better pat me on the back for getting them right. Please. I'd appreciate that. I'll go to great lengths to find the truth for everybody. Okay. Why do we participate in an annual ritual sacrifice of the turkey? I don't, but I did. We all did, growing up in America. Why? Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? I didn't know turkey was a huge Christmas thing, but I guess people do a lot of turkey for Christmas too. I don't think I did that growing up. Christmas is more of like a ham and chicken thing. I could be wrong, but turkey, yeah, sure. Turkey's still a Christmas thing, but it's definitely a Thanksgiving food, right? But turkey's still on the menu for Christmas.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Why is it that we choose to slaughter those and eat them at this particular time of year? You'll notice, if anyone's into astrotheology, you'll notice in the Old Testament, there's a lot of animal sacrifice going on. Now, Jesus knows that there was never any animal sacrifice commanded by the one true God in heaven, the one true good God in heaven. But animal sacrifices were done, or, are described in the Old Testament. And if you really know what you're talking about, if you really know kind of the higher interpretations, not just the literal. The literal is good, but if you're restricted to the literal, that's no good. So some of the higher interpretations, metaphorical, symbolic, allegorical, and higher, right? Transcendental interpretations. If you're looking at animal sacrifice, very often in world mythology, the animal being sacrificed, and by the way, sacrifice just means made sacred, right? Offered in veneration. You can sacrifice something without slaughtering it. you can sacrifice something, and you could even say it's synonymous with like sanctifying, right? To make something holy, to consider something holy, to offer something holy. Okay? So sacrifice in the Old Testament, in many world mythologies, the animal being sacrificed is not an animal having its throat slit. It is the animal associated with the zodiac sign of that time period, right? Like Abraham slaughtering a ram, right? It would be like Moses having to do with bulls, right? Destroying the bull statue, sculpture, altar, idol, whatever you want to call it. Moses and the bull. Moses, Bible. Say goodbye to the bull. Bye-bye, Age of Taurus. Bye-bye. Bible. That's what Bible means. Bible, Moses, Moses and his bull. And then you have Abraham and his ram, right? The animals being sacrificed aren't necessarily being slaughtered. Now, killing something in a story is an easy way to sink something into somebody's subconscious, an easy way to sink it into their mind, make sure it lands, If you're just, like rom-coms don't necessarily sink as deep into your memory as horrific, scary action drama movies do that, right? That little extra edge, that little extra tension, trauma, whatever, makes things stick, right? Makes you remember the details a little bit. So I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
You're associating the sacrifice of the turkey with certain astrological signs, I think is what you're getting to.
Yeah, the animal being sacrificed is kind of indicating the zodiac sign that's being addressed. It's not saying an animal actually got slaughtered, especially in the Old Testament, right? Jeremiah 7:22, by the way. If anyone wants to dispute, did God ever command animal sacrifices? Did God ever command animal sacrifice in the Old Testament? No, he did not. God never did. The one good God of heaven never, ever once commanded an animal sacrifice. Get wrecked. If anyone can't see this, they weren't.
But you know who did?
Who?
The descendants of the Hasmonean dynasty, who are also related to what I was talking about earlier. The ones who came to power after the destruction of the temple, which was probably one of the first false flags in history, honestly, so that they could come to power and make all these new rules.
Right.
And all these books.
Okay, tell us about it.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Before that, there was a strict system of who could be in charge and who could make rules, and there was no Talmud or there was no oral law. Suddenly, after all this took place with the destruction of the temple, that's when you finally have Rabbi come along, and anyone can become in this position now as long as they are initiated into this very specific group. The Hasmonean dynasty was ended after Herod the Great, even though he wasn't all that great, but they basically got rid of the Onias, who were allegedly more influenced by the Greco-Roman religion. But if you look at the symbol of the Hasmoneans being the cornucopia, which is associated with the goddess and other things, it seems like maybe they weren't the ones who were, maybe they were the ones more influenced by the Greco-Roman religion, or who knows what exactly is taking place there. But at the end of the day, they're inside of the temple. You always had the eternal flame, which seems to go back to all these religions, right? That's what's taking place within the holiest of holies. They have the eternal flame burning at all times, which is related to the goddess.
Yeah.
You know, you're and all those bad boys, but I don't know.
Yeah. Hasmonean.
Tasmanian,
Nice.
they're all about the sacrifice, so I mean, it makes sense that they would try to get other people to sacrifice, like what they're doing with Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Turkeys getting slaughtered yearly at this time of year. Why? Right? Maybe also the pilgrims. Some people say the pilgrims were rabbis. You know about this?
Yes.
That the pilgrims, their way of dress, their way of life. Oh, why are we getting so persecuted? Oh my God, this persecution's so bad. You know, England has like a bajillion types of Christianity, but our persecution's so bad we have to go to a new continent.
Well, that's the thing is like they weren't allowed to be citizens in England, but they were able to have special privileges in America.
Yeah. Right.
This is the only place that they could do what they wanted to do, which is why the American Revolution even happened to begin with. You know, you have the stories of El Dorado and stuff like that. It's because you had these people over here making all this money, living off of these endless resources, and people were hearing about it.
Yeah.
Barely anyone even wanted the American Revolution, but it just so happened that over 90% of these people did. 90%. And keep in mind, this is like around 2,000 people total in the entire continent, and they had that much power. To
Here, hang on. Keep going. What do you out of gas?
yeah, I mean, I run out quickly. I gotta wait for I got an earpiece in. I gotta wait for Mossad to hit me up with the next thing to say.
Gotta wait for the feds to Venmo us $200 to get to the next talking point.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you were talking about Abraham Lincoln earlier too. It's the same situation. The first rabbi wasn't even in America until the 1840s, and then these after he gave up because the type of Judaism that was here was so unfamiliar and so different to what they're used to back in Europe. He's just like, I can't handle this. So these other two guys,
There was a bunch in Florida before that, but whatever.
well, the first like I guess ordained, recognized rabbi by this initiated group of people,
Okay.
the ones that have their own little law system or whatever else. So then later on, Ulysses S. Grant during the Civil War, the only edict against the Jews in American history was passed by Ulysses S. Grant or put into effect. It was supposed to be aimed at the South, but it only took place in like Kentucky or something, or I think it was close to. No, I don't know if it was Kentucky. It was somewhere close to Illinois. Was the only place it was ever executed at. But these
Okay.
people had so much power that they were able to meet up with Abraham Lincoln and get it immediately overturned, even though there's
Sure.
barely any of them. Rabbi Max Lilienthal and
Okay.
Rabbi Weiss.
Okay.
But yeah,
Thanksgiving, bro.
exactly. But you said keep going.
Okay. So we got Sagittarius, Thanksgiving, Thursday, Turkey. Just look at the word Turkey, right? Named after the country Turkey. Well, where does Turkey, the country, get its name? You could say the Turkish people, but many people are aware, right? Real good historians, real etymologists know there's a link between Tur and Turkey. So Tur is, Thor, Jupiter, Jupiter. The Tur in Turkey is the same Tur in Jupiter. Guess what? It's where we get turquoise too. Turquoise from Turkey. Yep. The Tor key, right? Sagittarius rules, distance, travel, taking a tour. And what else? Yeah, Turkey, ruled by Sagittarius. Some astrology books will even tell you that the country Turkey is ruled by Sagittarius. Turkey. Okay. And what else are the Turks famous for? a lot of other stuff. But,
Child brides.
Also, the Ark, the spot that Noah's Ark is said to have landed, Turkey. That's a very Sagittarius story, right? Ark, the word ark is a Sagittarius word, both meanings, ship, box, whatever. And then to arc something, like an arch, like a arrow, arcs, right? And then a rainbow, a bow, rainbow, shaped like a bow, named a bow, rainbow, all ruled by Sagittarius. So this ark story, Turkey, right? It all kind of goes hand in hand. Now, Turkey, the animal, as you can see here, this little article, we're going to go through the esoteric symbolism of the turkey. You know, we've kind of established why this time of year was chosen for Thanksgiving, but why this food? Why this sacrifice? Why this offering? Number one, the name, turkey, Jupiter. You know, Jupiter's, by the way, the animal turkey is ruled by Jupiter, by Sagittarius. It's large, it's a little bit fatter. You know, Sagittarius, Jupiter tends to rule things that are more massive, things that are, you know, have more volume. And Jupiter's turkeys can get pretty puffed up, right? They actually can travel pretty far, can fly very fast. And something unique about turkeys, they can see extremely, extremely well. They have better vision than humans and better vision than many, many animals, many other birds, even birds of prey. Turkeys have better vision than many of them. And also, like I said, I believe the turkey is the inspiration for the Thunderbird and the Phoenix to an extent, but definitely the Thunderbird. Sagittarius rules thunder. So it's the bird of thunder. It's the, yeah. Okay. So let's read this article. One second.
I mean, they're probably a lot bigger back in the day, too.
Yeah. Well, here, let's look at. Yeah. For those who don't know, the turkey, for those who haven't realized this, the turkey is like the American equivalent of the peacock. Have you ever thought about that, Jim?
I was earlier a bit when you were talking about it because it was also making me think of the painting of the birth of Venus, the way the feathers are, when it's spread out, it kind of reminds me of the seashell, and I was thinking of the peacock as well in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a couple types of turkey, but there's two main types or breeds or groups, right? There's the normal turkey, the wild turkey, that's in North America, the United States. And then there is the ocellated turkey. Now, dude, the normal turkey is like, you know, black, brown, maybe a little green, might have like a little opalescent kind of look to it, or what do they call it? Ocellated look to it, where it's got like this rainbowy, oil slick kind of glimmer to it, rainbowy glimmer, kind of similar to what a peacock has. And the ocellated turkey is a particular type of turkey that is so similar to the peacock that some people think it's one of the closest related birds to the peacock. Some people think they're very, very close, that the ocellated turkey is close to the peacock. Now, they're both fowl, by the way. Okay. And when you see the one fan, I'm not just saying this for any reason. When you see it fan out, it actually has eyes on its rear feathers, right? The fanning out feathers in the back. Eyes on it.
See it. Someone says, Peripheral Inkling says turkey is fire chicken in Chinese. Sagittarius is a fire sign, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, chickens tend to be associated with fire in general, with Aries. Maybe Leo, but Aries. It's a solar animal. Sunrise, you know, the rooster, red roos. That's rooster. That's very
Sure.
sunrise. But yeah, turkeys are like that too. Presidential pardons, yeah. The presidential pardons, it's a very Sagittarius thing, believe it or not. Or at least Jupiter. It's a very Jupiter thing. Jupiter rules kind of, you could say, mercy. Right? There's a connection between Mercury and mercy, right? Two things negotiating or coming to terms. But when you say mercy, meaning like saving a life, that's ruled by Jupiter. Okay. But let me go back to this window here. This is ocellated turkey. They are unique to, exclusive to the Yucatan Peninsula. But apparently some of them have been seen in Florida. I'm sure they can fly that over. Maybe they can mix with other types of turkey. Who knows? I think the Osceola turkey, those can get kind of confusing. The names are similar. The Osceola turkey is unique to Florida. That one can be kind of colorful, but it's the ocellated turkey. Ocellated turkey is the most colorful one. It's also the smallest, so perhaps it's actually like feral, or it was domesticated, bred to look a certain way. Then maybe it went feral, right? Got loose. But it looks very, very different. It's a little bit smaller. You guys see?
We see the map right now.
Okay, one sec.
I was surprised to find that we have peacocks in Ohio. I've seen a few around my area, just out in the wild.
Yo, Shem. That's crazy. I have this picture of you on the Wikipedia.
Gonna need some royalty.
Looking good tonight, Shem. God damn. No, but yeah, they're not as nice in the face as peacocks, but you'll see.
Is it blue skin or is it purple skin?
This is where cranberry sauce is made, guys. These little bumps on the turkey face, that's how cranberry sauce is made.
Gross.
Here you can see the effect on the feathers. Now, I mean, that even looks like a group of peacocks almost. They have shorter tails for sure. But if you saw that from a distance, you could think that's peacocks, not turkeys.
That one for sure.
Here, you'll see. See this? Do you see that?
Our heads are kind of blocking it a bit, but
One sec. All right, you guys see this? Ocellated turkey from Mexico, right across the pond from Florida. Look at that with the eyes on the tips of the feathers. Come on. Now, I'm not saying this thing is the closest animal there is to the turkey. But when you research the ocellated turkey, or peacock, whatever I said, when you research the ocellated turkey, it even mentions that people have attempted to link it, attempted to trace it back to the peacock because it's so similar, right? It's almost as if they evolved side by side and learned from each other, maybe, right? There's an animal in the Bahamas There's a snake in the Bahamas whose neck fans out like a cobra. They don't know why it does that, but they think it probably did that. It probably learned how to do this from seeing cobras, right? Because it's not the same type of snake as a cobra. It's not very closely linked, but it might have learned this from the cobra at a time when they lived side by side. And I forget what this is called. It's like a brown racer or something like that. A Bahamas snake. It's a little snake in the Bahamas, not that big, but it can fan its neck out like a cobra. Maybe there's something similar like this. The turkey seems to be emulating the peacock, or they're filling the same role in nature. They're answering the same call. Who knows?
Is it called the hognose state?
This
snake?
Parallel. No, it's not the hognose.
I'm trying to find it. But yeah, I've heard of other animals doing similar things.
Bimini racer. Is it called a Bimini racer? Bahamian brown racer, I think it is. Bimini racer. I could be wrong, but there's a snake native to Bimini that can do the cobra thing with its head. But turkey. Oh yeah, cold turkey too, like going sober. Cold turkey. That's a very Jupiter concept. Totally. Jupiterians are very often straight edge. Very often. Pisces and Sagittarius is very, very likely to be straight edge. Right.
I did play in a straight edge band before. It was pretty fun. But I wasn't straight edge. I just filled in for a little bit.
Nice. Doesn't this look so much like a peacock?
I've only seen a peacock a couple times. Like I said, I was shocked when I saw one in Ohio. I was delivering pizza like 4 or 5 years ago and just saw one just walking around in a neighborhood. Had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bird, regardless.
See with the eyes. They both have eyes. Eyes on the patterns on their feathers. Well, all right. Here. Turkeys were once worshipped like gods. Let's read this a little bit. Turkeys were once worshipped like gods. The star of the Thanksgiving table was revered by the Maya, right? And the ocellated turkey came from Maya territory. So, turkeys these days are mostly seen as vessels for stuffing on your Thanksgiving table. Vessels for stuffing. Jesus, try calling your girlfriend that. But in 300 BC, the birds were viewed by the Maya as vessels of the gods and honored accordingly. In fact, the birds were originally domesticated to play a part in religious rites, prized players in Maya religion and culture. They were once coveted symbols of power and prestige. Turkeys are everywhere in Maya archaeology and iconography. The ancient Maya had one of the most advanced civilizations in the world, and part of their culture was a love of turkey. The bird was conceived of as being gifted with exceptional powers, which could be harmful to human, from the nocturnal and dream space, explained Maya specialists Ana Luisa Izquierdo y de la Cueva and Maria Elena Vega Villalobos. Come on, let's shorten these names up.
You can see, yeah, you can see the left wing ideology hit down there way earlier. Now they got like 5 names.
Turkeys are portrayed as godlike figures in Maya religious imagery, and at least one Maya ruler included the word for turkey in his royal nickname. These early birds were owned almost exclusively by the rich and powerful. Sagittarius, Jupiter rules rich, wealth, and power. Where was that? Says Kitty Emery, Associate Curator of the Environmental Archaeology at the Florida Museum of Natural History. In 2012, Emery was part of a team of researchers who published a paper uncovering evidence of the world's earliest turkey domestication. Her team found traces of non-native turkeys in El Mirador, an ancient Maya settlement that was once home to up to 200,000 people. Residents of El Mirador, in what is now Guatemala, worshipped in massive pyramid-like temples and lived a life assisted by astonishingly modern aqueducts and roads. But they also did something else: eat and worship turkeys. Though the Maya imported turkeys from Mexico, they also prized the ocellated turkey, the wild turkey that roamed the area around El Mirador. Those birds were valued for their multicolored feathers and heads, but they never made it to domestication. If they had proved tameable, the star of our modern Thanksgiving dinners might have been a lot more ostentatious looking. How the venerated turkeys looked was important to the Maya, Emery says, since the birds represented elite power, important long-distance trade connections, and the ability of the ruler to provide an important sacrificial victim or colorful feather cape, essentially on demand, with no need for hunting. The power of the turkey was also expressed in religious rituals. Maya art portrays turkeys with slit throats being used in New Year rites. In New Year rites.
Basically.
Yeah. New Year rites, yeah, for real. New Yorker rites. Bird sacrifices, anthropologists hypothesize, were meant to set the stage for a fertile new year, and turkeys were seen as stand-ins and messengers for the gods. The Maya may not have been able to tame the local wild turkeys, but they used both northern and local ocellated turkeys in their social and religious lives. Today's modern turkeys are descendants of those prized Maya birds, and even though modern Americans' form of turkey worship includes roasting and eating them during Thanksgiving dinners, they carry a more dignified history in their DNA. Damn, Aaron.
Every single person in this article was a woman.
They usually are. Here, what else? Here, this. This is Chalchihuatlin. Want to give that a go, Shem?
We
Give
was
us your
kings.
Chalchihuatlin.
Sounds like I'm gonna go to the YouTube channel and learn about how Africans created everything.
The almighty black turkey god descended upon the Americas. You know them Aztecs be clapping, bruh. You know that turkey god be busting.
Shit.
Man, bruh. Totolin, man. Chalchihuatlin. Okay. Forgive us, the almighty jive turkey god. Okay. Shout out to Meyer Butt Reeks for that joke. But Chalchi Totalin. Damn.
Chalchiu Totalo.
I'm totaling a Ferrari, bro. Total some cars. Total bad jokes. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows how to say this name? Chalchihuatotlin. Whatever. Does it have a sound? Does it have a play sound option on this one?
I'm not seeing it. Well, Jade Turkey. We can just call it that.
Yeah, Jade Turkey. That's what they call me, actually. In Aztec mythology, this is Aztec. We were just reading about Maya. Now we're reading about Aztec. In Aztec mythology, Chalchihuatotlin, for Jade Turkey, was a god of disease and plague. That's surprising. Chalchihuatotlin, the jeweled fowl.
Spelled differently.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the first one.
That's what I thought. Yeah, for real. They added another H in there.
And then the next one, oh no, I was about to say the next. It'd be funny if they just kept adding more. Like every time.
I think they might have.
They just add like 3 extra H's and U's and I's every single time they say the word.
Can you see that?
What? I can see your mouse right now, and you're on the Wikipedia page.
Can you see me dragging the word?
No.
Okay, it's the same word. Tezcatlipoca's Nahual. Jesus, these fucking words.
There's a reason they're exterminated.
I was just thinking that these words are too much, man. Tezcatlipoca can tempt humans into self-destruction, but when he takes the form of a turkey, he can also cleanse them of contamination, absolve them of guilt, and overcome their fate. Ah. So god of disease and plague, not necessarily bringing those things, but, being able to save people from those things. Now that's very Jupiterian. Health, wealth, abundance, things like that, all ruled by Jupiter. When you say good luck, that's Jupiter. Jupiter is benevolence, plain and simple. Cleanse them of contamination, absolve them of guilt, and overcome their fate. In the Tonalpohualli, Chalchihuatotlin rules over De Tecpatl, stone knife, and over Trecina, dude, whatever. These are like Elon Musk baby names, dude. Come on.
Yeah, the Spanish got here and they're like, what the fuck?
The preceding 13 days are ruled over by Xolotl. I don't know how to say that. Here's the turkey god, people. Again, you notice the Thunderbird in Native American folklore mythology. Notice how similar that thing is to this thing. Especially this one. All right. Let's see what we got. Man, we was turkeys and shit, bro. Man, we was turking out and shit, bro. Man, goddamn white man come to our land, take our goddamn turkeys. Man, the proof's right there, bro. Proof is right there. What more proof you need, bro? We was always turking and shit.
Shit, man, you could just Google this shit yourself, bro. Giblets, bro.
Alrighty. Turkeys. Aztec turkey god. Another turkey dude. Let's see what the Maya depicted them as. I think that's a turkey in their bottom right corner up there. This is Maya turkey art though. See this?
Yeah. Looks pretty Chinese.
I believe that's a Mayan turkey.
See if there is a Chinese turkey god,
Turkeys aren't native to China.
but they love turkey. Turkey fried rice.
Hmm. All right. What else? What else is there?
Did you ever get to the? I think the whole reason for looking at all this stuff was to kind of talk about why they choose this bird to sacrifice. Did you ever cover?
Well, yeah. Sorry, I blew my nose. Blew my nose. Sorry. That's that's off-putting. But yeah, I think we explained that that animal embodies that time of year. So, Passover, I don't agree with this. I don't think God ever actually ordered this. I think the false pen of the scribes inserted it and, mineralized it, literalized it into the dense, dumb version it is now that people misconstrue as permitting sacrifice. Blah, blah, blah. If you look at the instances where animals are slaughtered, the animal rules. The animal is the symbol of the sign of the zodiac that's being described. Right? Like Aries. Passover. I don't agree with this, but on Passover, they do the blood of a lamb over the door. Well, Aries, when is Passover? Passover can move around a little bit, but let me check this. Passover and Easter are supposed to be Aries holidays. Supposed to be. But you'll notice they kind of time it for a full moon around the spring equinox. Okay? But ideally, historically, traditionally, Easter is Passover, is the spring equinox. Okay? You can kind of dispute this a little bit, but ultimately, at its core, they're one and the same. So Passover, you see that they use the blood of a lamb. Blood of a ram, blood of a lamb, same thing. Over the door. Why the door? Aries rules the door. Aries rules opening, the entrance, the beginning. Right? It's the sunrise, it's the beginning of spring. It's where we get the word April. March for Mars rules Aries, but then April, because it's the sign, it's the beginning sign. It's the opening of the door. April means abra. It has the root abra, abracadabra to start off. Abra means to open, abrir to open, right? You speak a little Spanish, don't you, Shem?
Barely.
Abrir, abra la puerta, right? Something like that.
Brenda.
Okay. Someone speaks Spanish in the chat, right? How do you say open the door? Or open. Abrir, correct? So April means to open, to begin. And the door, the lamb's blood on the door, is kind of just a dumb Stone Age way of keeping the zodiac, the information of the zodiac, alive. Right? It's like you teach the Tooth Fairy to kids, or you teach the Humpty Dumpty, Snow White, and all this shit to kids because they don't know it. But it's so simple and easy, and it has the alchemical information contained within that a kid can transmit this story without ever knowing the higher truths contained within, right? That's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of a good story, of a good myth. The person sharing the myth doesn't have to be in on the secret, but they can transmit the story and deliver it to someone who does know. Okay. I think we covered all the key points here. There's also the presidential pardon, very Jupiter thing. Jupiter rules, presidents and pardoning, right? And people are saying, abre la puerta, yeah, open the door. Abra la puerta. Abre la puerta. Yeah, open the door. Abrir to open.
Puerto Rico, door, rich.
No, puerto means
Open. Which one means open?
yeah. Well, puerto is port. Puerta is door, I believe.
Thought one was masculine, one was feminine, but
They could be the same thing. Also, portal means like gate, portal, gate, port. Just a matter of gender on the words. I think. I don't speak Spanish. You should speak Spanish.
I don't.
You Spanish heritage.
Yeah, but I never learned anything. I just know random shit like Demblanque and dumb shit like that.
Dame cabeza.
I don't even know that one.
Dame cabeza. Come on.
I basically know the bare minimum.
Saca mi pepe.
When I say bare minimum, I mean like 15 things.
Chupa mi pene. Chupa mi pene. Chupa mi pene. Chupa mi salsito. Por favor.
Suck something.
What else? Eres maricón.
No mas pescado.
Damn. Well, Shem, anything you want to throw on here at the end?
No, nothing really.
Okay. You had a good Thanksgiving though.
Really good day.
What's coming up? What are you working on? What can the people expect?
Nothing.
Are you walking away from it all in December?
No, I've just been busy with working and stuff, so I haven't been working on much.
Yeah.
I'm going on vacation tomorrow for a few days, so when I get back, we'll see what happens.
Right here, the people can't even see us. My bad.
What about you? What's coming up next for Old World Florida?
Got a video about Miami in the works because I have a special guest in town who's, people know him from a video we did in Miami too, but that's coming up soon. And
Speaking of that, I might be coming down to Florida in February.
Oh yeah?
Possible. We'll see.
What part?
It's private. I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
But
whatever.
Close enough to you, I think.
Nice. Well, here let's wrap it up.
Did you want to take any calls? Or are there people waiting? Or
we waited too long. There was people waiting and they all left. I waited too long. That's my bad, people.
It is what it is.
Shout out to Wyatt for the 1999. He was waiting in here at the beginning. My bad. I should have put him in. But
yeah, I'm just a little tired today, guys. It's been a long day.
That's okay. You're a Pisces, dude. You're all good. Pisces be sleepy.
Yeah.
Pisces be sleeping.
Appreciate you, Daisy. But yeah, that's about it. Unless you want to talk about random Jewish stuff, I'm pretty much good.
Nah, I'm good.
So there you go.
But I might be starting a new YouTube channel or maybe just a Patreon, who knows? But the things I can't say on YouTube, I want to get out there. Some people, I'm a lot of, we have to self-censor when we're up here, believe it or not. So we're always kind of dancing around certain topics. Can't dip both feet in too hard, right? Kind of have to just dip a toe in, keep it light, keep it easy. But there's some things that I want to address, and one of them definitely is what's happening in Palestine, Gaza, all that stuff. So I might just have to start a new YouTube channel to address it, because I don't want all this good Florida knowledge, Florida content to get murked. But
I just want to talk about World War II and the truth about what happened with the Germans and who they were and why they were hated so much and how they even came to power to begin with.
sure, well, let's keep that for another day.
Definitely can't talk about it on YouTube,
couldn't-
unfortunately.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, but yeah, it has nothing to do with Florida, unfortunately.
Kind of does. NASA's
sure.
in Florida. NASA's
Well,
in Florida.
It has to do with everything. Everything has to do with everything, sure. But guys, I'll give you a break from the ads this time around. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And everyone drop a fish in the chat for Shem. Drop a emoji that you see suitable for Shem and his personality. Drop a fish in the chat for Shem for some Shem support. And yeah, guys, that's about it. Gonna wrap it up here. Gonna go to back to this thing. Nice. All right, y'all. Signing off here. Last
Have a good
chance.
night.
Last chance for tips, messages. Yo, we got some fishes in the chat. Hell yeah.
It's not begging, that's business. Appreciate you having me on. The pretty good stuff. Shout out to the chat. Hope everyone had a good day. And
well, here, hey, talk about going on with Archaics. How was that?
It's pretty interesting. I was shocked he took my call. He basically.
Sorry.
What's that? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say he just basically went on a tangent about how I fund all these YouTube channels and I have all these pawns and out there on YouTube who I do my bidding somehow, and somehow I convinced Daydreamers to do all these weird things, but it's completely
Well, didn't he clear you on that? Didn't he give you the all clear on that, or did he?
No, he admitted that I didn't get him arrested, but then after he said that, he ended up saying that I was Israeli Mossad, or he wouldn't be surprised if he found out I was an Israeli Mossad and that I worked for the ADL and all this stuff.
Well,
and then yeah, he said I pay for your channel to exist. He said I pay for another channel called Chalk Body Outline to exist.
Not enough.
And then and then he said I work for Gaia. He said I work for Joe Rogan. Just a bunch of random stuff like that. But I don't know. I think he realized he was wrong eventually. And even Martin Lika came on the next day and was like, he brought it up again, and Martin's like, I don't know about that. So it was kind of weird, but I mean,
oh well, Jason, I don't know if that's a nice thing to say. Oh well, Jason.
Yeah, man.
Can you be nice to the feds, please? Can I go up for some air? Will you let me out of the dungeon?
It was interesting to talk to him. Yeah, I was never expecting him to take my call. He just did a call and show. He posted an email in the chat. I emailed it and said, "Hey, let's have a chat." He sent me the link. Showed up. Started out cordial by talking about history, and then he wanted to ask about what I was doing on his channel. And we kind of just, had a civil conversation. It was pretty chill. I thought it was mostly funny that he was saying that stuff. I tried to protest, but it didn't really work. So what can you do?
You got cucked hard, bro. He
Definitely.
totally alphaed you
Nah.
for everyone to see.
Definitely not.
He totally pulled the alpha move.
If that's what people take away from that, that's fine. But usually the people who are talking the most are the ones who are losing the argument, in my opinion.
Unless you're 88.
Shout out to 88.
You totally stuffed your turkey. That's what people are saying.
Thank God he didn't. Never been in a Texas prison, so I think I'm safe.
All right, y'all. Well, that's where we're gonna call it tonight. Adios, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good Thanksgiving. See you guys on Sunday or Monday, hopefully.
Peace out.
Peace. Good night, Shem.
Later, man.
Old World, Florida. Dr. Narco Longo.
Brought to you by the Florida Department of Magic. Welcome to Florida, baby.
Florida is the original Garden of Eden.